I simply love the quote of Gary Zukav that said, "What is behind your eyes holds more power than what is in front of them." And this is so powerful. And this brings us to the whole topic of anamorphic media, anamorphic art, anamorphic communication. The meaning, for those of you that are not familiar with it, first of all, ana means again, and morph obviously is shape or form. So anamorph, or to be anamorphic, or to be anamorphed, is to reshape, to shape again. And it refers to images that are heavily distorted if not viewed from the correct angle. And once the viewer realigns, the sculpture is shaped again. In South Africa, we've got the Nelson Mandela capture site in KwaZulu-Natal. And if you drive past the monument, past the capture site, this is what you will see. Just some poles randomly positioned, and it looks chaotic. And your first thought is, who would put a monument like this for Mr. Mandela? But then if you drive in and you walk down a small pathway and you go and stand on one specific spot, all the poles align behind one another and they are morphed. They are literally anamorphic and they are shaped again. And if you stand on that little spot, this is what you will see. The poles then form the image of Mr. Nelson Mandela. And it's once you see it, you cannot unsee it. It's just amazing to understand that what looks like chaos and distorted, if you stand on the correct position, then it becomes a beautiful image. And actually, this is what Romans 12 tells us all about, that do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will. So what the Bible is telling us is to not live a biomorphic life, not having the same form as everybody else, but to have a metamorphic faith, that we need to change the form, and this starts by renewing our mind, by embracing an anamorphic mindset. How we look at global events and how we see global news, to a large extent, will depend on where we stand. The key to an undistorted image is, first of all, our position. And friends, this is critically important. We can only really understand God's plan in the world that we live in once we realign and reposition ourselves and realign everything that we look at from the one specific point that God wants us to understand. And that viewpoint is the viewpoint of redemption. If we speak the language of redemption, if we look from the vantage point of redemption, we cannot but see that God is sovereignly in control and God is sovereignly shaping nations for kingdom purposes. May God give us the grace to whatever we view, whatever we see, what immediately looks like chaos, may we interpret that through the lenses of truth, goodness, and beauty, and see God's plan of redemption for the world that we live in.